the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Sir, Jebekaya enche ena krata efri aban kesie mu ebae se Jemame Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu John Dramani Mahama asake no wotimi ede Justice Bafoboni ababe ateni nyina petition John Dramani Mahama se nensa ekan sedie yenia enim no ene John Dramani Mahama etimi abo Justice Bafoboni din se ono ena emrabe Chief Justice emfa ema oman Ghana na enioma be ena ekomu antimi ede ema Justice Bafoboni se onumum ena ema be Chief Justice Samuel Okudzeto ablakwa mineo kase ne ho akwa ka edwemu enye asemkotoa na ni nyina Paul Adam Ochre etimi enya abotre edi details no etu edwana de yenko na yenko nkotie wabra yensa emre.
Member of Parliament, the deputy ranking for foreign affairs. He was given money by the Parliament people and told us, so this is how our important people travel, our MPs. So when you have to travel, per diem is calculated. Maybe you are getting $1 a day. So $1 a day, you are going for 9 days is $9. When that is so, they give you the money. So the money is given to you, the ticket is given to you. On the day of travel, you go to the airport, you put your passport down, the airline people will look at it, you're already on blah, blah, blah. All of that was done. All of that was done. Because he typically was not supposed to go. It is his boss, which is Samuel Abujinapo. Samuel Abujinapo is the ranking member for foreign affairs, the former lands minister and former deputy chief of staff, member of parliament for Damongo. He is the ranking member. And Abujinapo could not make it. So the deputy ranking was to go. Now, this deputy ranking was given his money, everything was prepared for him. But the deputy ranking had been very critical of Okudzeto Ablakwa, extremely critical of him. And so, suddenly they said that he can't go anymore. This is what has been written. Ablakwa drops MP from United Nations General Assembly for criticizing him. Well, the minister didn't give any reason why he has dropped him. But this is what journalists are surmising for the reason. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa has dropped the deputy ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Nana Asafo-Adjei, from participating in the ongoing United Nations General Assembly. As has been the practice over the years, the chairman of the committee and the ranking member are constant participants in the United Nations General Assembly. The ranking member, Samuel Abujinapo, ceded his slot to his deputy, Asafo-Adjei. To his deputy, Asafo-Adjei. Should I go on like that? Oko Vanderpoy is to represent the majority, whereas Asafo-Adjei was representing the minority. The clerk of the committee, this time round, was added to the list. The dynamic Bosome Frehu MP readied himself, got to the Kotoka International Airport, only to be told at the counter that his name had been dropped from the trip. When calls were placed to ascertain why his name was dropped, Samuel Ablakwa's PA, personal assistant, sent a message that the minister being Okudzeto Ablakwa, said that the ministry, cannot pay for the deputy ranking member because the ministry can only take care of 2 participants, Oko Vanderpoy and the clerk of the committee. What is strange about this development is the fact that Asafo-Adjei's plane tickets had been paid for and his per diem was given to the clerk to be given to him. One wonders why the minister said the ministry cannot bear his expense when it has already been paid for. The reasons for this is not lost on us. Ablakwa is unhappy with the deputy ranking member of the committee due to the following, and this is very important. 1. On May 22nd, 2025, the Bosome Frehu MP held a press conference chiding the foreign minister on how he handled the scandal that hits the Washington embassy. 2. He as well held a press conference on the 9th of July 2025, chastising the government for relaunching the chip-embedded passport and also on the state of Ghanaians in Togo over the political insurrection in the neighboring country. 3. Nana Asafo-Adjei then filed a question in Parliament on 23rd July 2025 for Foreign Minister to respond to the questions he raised in the presser. The Foreign Minister lost his cool by confronting Nana Asafo-Adjei, questioning him over why he first held a presser when he knew he would file a question. I mean, viewers, can you imagine this coming from Okudzeto Ablakwa? Asking a member of parliament that, if you knew that you will put a question for me, why did you do a press conference? I mean, has power so suddenly changed some people? Power has so suddenly changed some people. Power that we saw Akufo-Addo hold for 8 years, Kufuor held it for 8 years. And it has suddenly changed people in months. 2 months, 3 months, they are gone. Why will a foreign minister be concerned that you wanted to ask me questions on the floor of the House? Why did you put it in a press conference? Okudzeto Ablakwa, the one who is the biggest protester, the one who shouted on top of his voice against Akufo-Addo and any person. There was even an occasion when Shirley Ayakoboche confronted him in Parliament that you are the ranking member, you have this information. Why do you go and publish these things? Was Okudzeto Ablakwa cancelled from UNGA summits? When Akufo-Addo traveled to the United Nations General Assembly, I believe for 7 times, was there any occasion when the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee was told that he cannot travel? Is that what happened? They should tell us. But I'm worried, and Democracy Watch should be worried, that a foreign minister is wanting to intimidate somebody on the minority side because the person has put an urgent question for him in Parliament, whilst these same questions were put to the media at a press conference. Ablakwa should really be explaining that. And I'm very sad. He's a young man with great potential. He should never allow power to do this to him. All of them, all of us, all young people, power should never do this. Power in 7 months. Hey, 7 months, Okudzeto Ablakwa is climbed on the high horse. You cannot ask me a question when you have gone to tell the press. You Ablakwa, you that the press supports, how much support Ablakwa has gotten from media in putting out his expressions everywhere, going on Adum FM. Now when they play the video, he's angry, saying that if ever any government official uses presidential jets, he will resign. Presidential jets have used, he hasn't resigned. Saying all kinds of things about Galamsey, that there should be a state of emergency declared. State of emergency has not been declared. The president says he is not going to declare it. Ablakwa has not resigned. He's with the president at UNGA. And then he has the effrontery to then cancel somebody who was criticizing him that a person cannot travel. The money that a person is using to travel doesn't belong to Okudzeto Ablakwa. It belongs to the taxpayer, you and I. We hold those resources. And Ablakwa is supposed to manage those resources on our behalf because we all turned up and voted for John Dramani Mahama. John Dramani Mahama exercises the social contract on our behalf. He decided that Ablakwa should handle the social contract on the side of the foreign ministry. And Ablakwa decides that the money that government of Ghana has given to me, that I should, the protocol is that the ranking member goes. If the ranking member doesn't go, the deputy ranking goes so that we can have a report. He decides that that money, whilst it doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the taxpayer. I am going to make sure that he doesn't travel to the United Nations General Assembly because he's criticizing him. I think this is very sad. And for those of us who love Ablakwa, we should tell him that you cannot let power get into your head just in months. What are you going to do in 2027 March, in 2028 June? When you have had power for 3 years, what is Ablakwa going to do? Is he going to climb on all of us? Is he going to climb on his car and let the driver drive and be on his car like a palanquin, the way they put the Asante Hene in palanquin? Is that what he would want, to be ridden in a palanquin? Ablakwa wants us to ride him in a palanquin because he's foreign minister. We should. Bafo-Bonny. And this is the story. This is a gist. I'm going to share with you. It's a gist. So there were people within the president's office, inner circle of President Mahama, who didn't want Bafo-Bonny to be nominated as a Chief Justice. That's normal. It's natural. It always happens. In politics, that's the game. There were those who wanted Justice Bafo-Bonny also to be nominated. So what you do when you have a situation like that, you don't get upset because there's nothing to get upset about political appointments. They'll always be lobbying for other people. However you think somebody is qualified, another person has a different opinion. That's the inner circle politics around the presidents of Ghana and presidents of everywhere. So you don't have to get upset that people don't want your choice. They want another person. What you do then, if you can, is to develop and devise a strategy that will help you to achieve the results. Because the president's an individual. He's a politician. He's an individual as a leader. He's going to listen to everyone. And then you have to find a way to sway the president to your side. It happens on a daily basis when presidents are about to make important and sensitive appointments. So the gist is that the NDC people who supported Justice Bafo-Bonny, they mentioned to him, the chief, the thing is becoming very tight. you have Amadou Tanko in there. And the lobby for Amadou Tanko is coming from very important, significant quarters. I won't mention the name, but they told me. It's coming from very important quarters. Amadou Tanko's nomination. There's also the age-old Justice Kulendi thing, which is also being captured by some important people around the president. In fact, some of the president's immediate family wanted Justice Kulendi. Okay. And then there are also those who think that Justice Gabriel Poaman has done more than enough to get the situation, something they call the situation. We don't know what it is, but we can surmise that is reference to the talk or no removal. We can surmise that, but we don't know. So Justice Gabriel Poaman too should be considered for the position. In any case, Bafo-Boni will end in December 2026, next year. He's gone. Okay. So the supporters of Bafo-Boni, we heard this last week, told him that, Chief, one of the ways in which you can get this thing is you have an invitation to the bar conference, you speak there. Perhaps you should touch on Galamsey, perhaps, because it's real. The Galamsey is a problem. When you touch on Galamsey, you will be able to attract some attachment of independence to your candidature. Because right now, it is suspected that there has been a railroading of Tokonu out of the seat. And it is suspected that all of us have participated in this process. So if you were to stand one step away and speak about Galamsey, which is true and which is public knowledge, you will be able to attach to yourself a certain sense of independence. That will make it very difficult for the government to ignore you as the acting Chief Justice and place another person, because the independent MPP media, the Paul Adomotris of this world, Miracles Abuaje and Nana B and all those people who come on Good Morning Ghana for MPP talkatives and all that, they are all going to point fingers at John Mahama and say that, oh, you see, the guy was acting. Because he spoke against the president, they didn't give it to him, and it's going to paint the president as an intolerable kind of person. Already, the president having to struggle with that kind of narrative. And he's a president who has always been presented as one who is very friendly and who is very tolerating of people who don't like him. And so you see John Mahama smiling with MPP people, shaking hands with MPP people. He seems to tolerate people who don't like him in politics, who don't like his politics. He would like to keep that image. So if you go hard at Galamsey, it just might work. That was the lobby. This is what we hear. That was the lobby. It appeared that it was successful. Hugely successful. Because today, here we are congratulating Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, and who is now being thought about as for all of these civil society independent thinkers think that, oh, he's a very independent-minded judge. He was acting Chief Justice. He went to the Galamsey place and spoke about the issue. Now, why did that have to happen? Why did Justice Bafo-Boni why did he need to do something to give him a certain sense of independence? Because right from the get-go on the Tokonu matter, it had appeared, and references had been made, that Justice Bafo-Boni as acting Chief Justice had empaneled, he sat on the panel, Tokonu lost all the decisions, everything was against her. She complained to the Supreme Court and the unanimous decision. At some point, the court said they have no jurisdiction because the matters are in camera. All of these things, legal as they may be, clothed with legal legitimacy as it may be, seem to have suffered quite a bit of moral legitimacy. All of these decisions. However much that they were clothed with legal legitimacy because it's a procedure, they seem to suffer a bit of political and moral legitimacy. So in those circumstances, all of the people who had participated may have been suffering some deficits of moral and political. If one of them, the acting Chief Justice, were to speak about this very obvious matter, the Catholic Bishops' Conference had written about it. If he were to speak about it, just maybe he will attract and attach himself with some level of independence. If that happens, he will be the most attractive person for the position in terms of taking the governance box, because the government of President Mahama would not like to be told that, oh, you had an acting Chief Justice. Because he went to the bar conference and spoke against you people, you ignored him for the Chief Justice. So you sort of bottled them into the position. Is that what happened? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But what we can say tonight is that congratulations to Mr. Justice Bafuboni. He's been nominated by the President of Ghana as the next Chief Justice. He's going to face Afenyo Makin and the rest of the Appointments Committee hearing. Where does this leave the rest of the judges? That's the most important question. Now, President Mahama had hinted earlier that in terms of appointments, he would be following on through their seniority. In nominating Justice Bafuboni, that's precisely what the president has done. He has gone to the next senior-most judge to become Chief Justice. When Justice Bafuboni leaves, if he succeeds in the Appointments Committee hearings, and we think he would, if he succeeds, the next in line will be Justice Gabriel Poaman if President Mahama were to keep the agenda of keeping the next senior-most. Where does that leave the rest? This is now the story. Here is Justice Gabriel Poaman. Now, Justice Bafuboni will be retiring on December 2026. He's turning 70, then he's gone. Justice Gabriel Poaman is next in line. If Justice Gabriel Poaman gets the job, according to what President Mahama has said, that he will go according to seniority, Justice Gabriel Poaman will be there till August 2030. There's a crucial benchmark, threshold, epoch that's coming. 2028 December, we are going to vote for a new president and a new parliament. We are going to be entering the 10th parliament. That will be a fantastic milestone of the parliament, the 10th parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana. That's amazing. I can't wait for that. God give us life, shouldn't he? And we'll all be there to see the 10th parliament. The brutal one was the 8th parliament. That's what woke all of us up. The 8th parliament, where they had to lose boxing and things before Bagbin became the speaker. Bagbin has become a two-time speaker, equaling the record of Justice D.F. Annan, the only one to have been a two-time speaker in the 4th Republic. That's Alban Sumano Kingsford Bagbin. We don't know whether he'll be there again or whether he will leave, but we are going to elect another parliament in that 2028 election. Justice Gabriel Poaman, if he becomes, will be there till 2030. So that epoch, he will be the one to see the transition. Whether it's an NDC to NDC, NDC to NPP, it's a transition. He will be the one to see it. Now, who comes next? Is there a next? This is Justice Amadou Tanko. Now, he retires in 2027. So, if in 2026, President Mahama follows the seniority and goes to Justice Gabriel Poaman, certainly, surely, Amadou Tanko would have lost it. If he goes to Amadou Tanko, then Amadou Tanko will be there for 1 year until 27. That will be from 26 to 27, and then he will be gone. I don't know what President Mahama would like to do, whether he would think of, oh, Justice Poaman, don't worry. Tanko has only 1 year. Let me go to Amadou Tanko for 1 year, and then I'll come to you. But that will be offending the seniority concept, because Justice Gabriel Poaman is next senior most to Justice Paul Bafuboni. Now, Justice Gabriel Poaman is senior most because he came to the Supreme Court first. But Amadou Tanko will be retiring before the year that Justice Poaman leaves. So if Justice Poaman gets it, good night, Justice Amadou Tanko. Your Lordship, God bless you. We hope for the best for you. But he's retiring in 2027. Next, Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, our eternal criminal law lecturer, retires also in October 2027. So if she doesn't get it, and Justice Poaman is named, then sorry, we are not going to have another woman on the bench for a while, because Professor Justice Henrietta Mensah Bonsu will be out. She'll be 70 in October 2027, and that will be the end of her Supreme Court's journey, and she will not become Lord Chief Justice. Unfortunately, she perhaps will go down as one of the best people we didn't get for Chief Justice. Very, very, very solid woman. Very, very intelligent, very big on criminal law, and very sort of astute, very astute woman, Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu. She retires in October 2027. Who's next? Next in the agenda is my own Lord, His Lordship Justice Yoni Kulendi. Now, Justice Kulendi retires in November 2033. That's after the next election. After the 32 election, he retires. But Justice Poaman goes to 2030. So whoever is president in 2030, if he's minded, Henrietta Mensah Bonsu will be gone, Amadou Tanko will be gone, Justice Kulendi will be the next senior most. And so if they are going by senior most, in 2030, Justice Kulendi should, if the president of the day is so minded, give Justice Kulendi the Chief Justice position. Now, so what should Justice Kulendi do now? Because he's been qualified since Tokonu. He's qualified now. He's gone to Bafuboni. So Justice Kolendi lost to Tokono. We can't say he's lost to Bafuboni, but Bafuboni has gotten it now. If another person like Poaman gets it, and there'll be some more nominations on the Supreme Court. But whoever comes, Justice Kolendi will be senior. It depends on the president and the government of the day. So Justice Kolendi should hope that whoever becomes the president in 2028 is friendly with him and is good with him. If that's so, if he becomes president in 2028, he can shift the Chief Justice to him 2 years down the line in 33. Is it 2 years? No, more than 2 years. This guy lives in 30. The election is in 32. Oh, so, but he lives in 30 and the election is in 32. So the president that is sworn in January 2029 will be there by the time Justice Poaman leaves, and he can go to Justice Kolendi, who would become the Chief Justice in that sense in 2032. And then he will have 1 year to leave in 2033. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's interesting, isn't it? That's good. that's some good. My guys, my producers put this together for me. They've done very well. They told me they'll put it together. I won't need any help. They'll put it together. And they did. I've seen it. It's very clear. So that's Justice Kolendi.